Matt Drudge is a legend on the internet. Every journalist and politician in America reads his website on a daily basis. He's a powerhouse and reports to no one. And regular folks are big fans as well. Check out these numbers. About 33 million visits in just the last 24 hours alone, almost 900 million in the last month, and get this, over 11 billion in the last year. Some people love him, some people hate him, and the White House may fear him because they can't control him. Listen to one of Obama's top advisors, Pfeiffer, when asked about the Drudge Report.
If you're an undersecretary at the Energy Department and you're doing an interview and you say one thing, you could end up being on the front page of Drudge. Anyone saying anything can get caught up in the spin cycle in a way that is very damaging. It hurts what we're trying to do on a daily basis, but also is very damaging to that individual person.
So, Kimberly, does the White House fear Matt Drudge?
I think they do. See, listen, they're so used to getting smooched and, blown kisses that when somebody says something that might be accurate, that they might view to be unfavorable to them, they just get their panties in a bunch. And that's what happens. Drudge doesn't bow down to them. He doesn't care. He's like, I'm going to report the facts, report the truth. I'm going to tell the story. I've got the sources. Deal with it.
Okay, Mr. White House on speed dial. Do you fear the guy or not?
I was going to say White House on speed.
That was in the 80s.
That was in the 80s. Or,
70s.
Yeah. But, I suspect that they probably do fear him a little bit. But as far as I can tell, now there's 11 billion. One of those was not me. I mean, I don't happen to go there, but I know a lot of people do.
You hear about it.
But I do, as I understand it, he's a disseminator of news, right? He doesn't create news. Aggregates news. And so my guess is whatever he puts on the top of his page probably gets a lot of attention, right? And that's what they're talking about. When they say it interrupts our program, I mean, it's... Frankly, I don't think that's got a lot of people crying out there, does it? I'm not sure I would have used those words if I were Pfeiffer.
Greg, let me show it full screen. Matt Drudge's normal header, we showed it on the way in. Take a look at this one, though, guys. Roll that little video. See that thing right there? That is the dreaded siren. When Matt has some news that he wants everyone to see, he puts that thing up there. There are a lot of people who are afraid of that siren, Greg.
I had one of those removed from my lower back. Dude, here's the thing that drives me crazy. It's an old metaphor. My back. It's an old metaphor of the liberal bureaucrat. You own the field. For many years, you've owned the field. You own the team. You own the refs. You own the ball. You own the stadium. And you're mad because some guy in the bleachers is wearing a bright shirt that's distracting you. It's kind of childish.
Everyone's looking at him.
I mean, Drudge has some nerve to exercise the right to free press. He's going to wake up one day to a drone, and it'll be George Stephanopoulos.
Dana, Howard Wolfson, who worked with the Clinton campaign, said he dreaded, I assume she did too, they dreaded that breaking news siren.
So when you're in the, I'm an addict. I'm a Drudge addict. My homepage is actually something else, National Review, but I find myself going to Drudge all the time because as a communications professional, you can tell what's going to come down the pike. If there's a siren on Drudge Report, you're like, oh boy, I better go knock on the Oval Office door and let him know what's going to happen. I think the other thing that drives them crazy is he writes the cleverest headlines, and sometimes he puts them, matches it up with a picture. And even though he's been under a lot of pressure, that page has looked the same since the day it started. And a lot of websites renew themselves and get a makeover, and he has resisted that pressure and still gets the most hits out of anyone.
Bob, if there is, and there's some contend there is, a White House enemies list, would Matt Drudge be on top of that list?
Well, he'd be just behind you. No, I don't think this is a White House enemies list. I think that, look, when anybody gets 11 billion hits a year, it's going to have to scare anybody in the White House media operation. So, and with I don't know about siren, but I assume that would scare the hell out of you, too.
Could I make one other point? So in the soundbite, what Mr. Pfeiffer says is that if you're the undersecretary of the Department of Energy and you say one thing that's taken out of context and it blows up and it really disrupts what you're trying to do, I mean, that's exactly what the Obama campaign did with the 47% video that was taken secretly at the Romney event. And you know what? That works for them, so they really can't have it both ways.
Can I just add that there's something happening, I think, to watch in the future, which is the aggregation of Twitter, where stories are no longer that important, but what people are saying. Michelle Malkin's Twitchy is, to me, the most interesting thing I've seen happen, even though when I'm looking at it, I'm going, is this news or is this not news? What they're doing is they're pulling what people are saying and creating stories. Sure. And in fact, they are stories because you can actually find the beginning of a feud and as it progresses just by going on Twitchy. I think that thing's going to be worth a lot of money, and I wish I wasn't so stupid.
Okay.
Well,
all righty. Well,
I never think of anything that makes money.
Well, maybe Michelle will sell you a piece of Twitchy.
That's too late.
All right.